Never let anybody see you sweat. So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with this show.
Lincoln Novak claims he found out from a neighbor that his tenants had moved. Chase Abney and Letitia Jenkins say they were harassed and felt unsafe, so they had to leave. The co-defendants are countersuing for $1,500.
Okay, Mr. Novak, you are suing your former tenants for $4,500 that you say you are out because they broke their lease early. Tell me what's going on.
That's right, Your Honor.
How long were they supposed to stay there?
For 1 year.
And how long did they stay there?
They stayed there for 9 months.
Okay. And what did they give you as a reason for why they were moving?
No reason. They just left.
All right. How did you find out that they had left?
Well, I was notified by the neighbors.
And what did the neighbors tell you?
They told me nobody's here. It took me a few weeks to find out.
So you just never heard from them again?
No.
All right. So let me hear from you. Why did you guys move out? Mr. Abney, let's start with you.
Right, yes, Your Honor. So my girlfriend and I moved out early because we did not feel safe in the neighborhood.
Why did you not feel safe?
There were numerous incidents that occurred that made both of us feel uncomfortable and that required us to vacate the premises as soon as possible.
Okay, those are conclusions that you're making. And in order to win in court today, you're being sued to pay the rest of the lease. For you to win, you have to persuade me of what you just said. So rather than drawing a conclusion, you're going to have to get really specific with me. Okay. What exactly made you feel unwelcome in the neighborhood or unsafe in the neighborhood? Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, there were various incidents involved with my girlfriend that made us feel uncomfortable. And such as when she had her nephew's visit in July, there was a neighbor where they were playing outside.
And then they were playing soccer, and the ball decided to hit their yard. And the neighbor...
Well, they hit the ball into the yard. And so they went to go get it?
Yes. My nephew went to go get the ball, and then
Is there a fence around the area or no?
Yes, there is a fence. So it went over the fence.
Your nephew went over the fence? How old's your nephew?
They're 10 and 12. They're very good soccer players.
Yeah, they're very good soccer players? Apparently not, because it ended up going in a foul zone, and then they jumped somebody's fence. But anyway, so go ahead. So what happened?
Yes. Okay, so the neighbor came out, and he said to them, hey, you don't belong here. Get your ball and leave.
Okay.
And so my nephews came over to me and started crying, saying that, hey, this lady was just being mean to us. Our ball accidentally went over their fence.
I know, but so did you tell them the next time, ring the doorbell and say, I'm sorry, my ball went inside of your yard. Can I please go in there and get it, rather than jumping a fence and getting shot? You know.
Yes, but the thing is, the way that she said it.
Where are you?
We were in Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but the fact is that the way that she said that was kind of rude. You don't say to a child that you don't belong here. Like,
no.
That's disrespectful.
You felt it was racial, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Belong
so
here
my question to you is, that neighbor was white?
Yes.
Okay.
The percentage of that whole neighborhood is white. So,
okay. And did you ever go over? Like, are you friends with that neighbor? Like, are you friendly with that neighbor? Like, did you ever go to the neighbor and say, hey? You know,
when I moved there, I was very friendly with everybody. It was just that I didn't receive that same, acknowledgement back. So yes, I was friendly with this neighbor, but she wasn't friendly back with me, as well as the other neighbors that were living there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you ever go talk to them after this happened with the nephews?
I did not.
Okay.
I talked to my boyfriend about it, and he talked to the landlord about it.
Okay. Did you ever go talk to those neighbors after that happened with the nephews?
Right, yeah. I went to go talk to them, and she just kind of said, like, oh, I'm sorry, I was having an off day. But I did email Mr. Novak about it to tell him about that disturbance. And
wait, I'm sorry. You emailed the landlord to tell him that your nephews kicked the ball onto private property, jumped a fence, got the neighbor who saw them in their fence was rude, and you told the landlord why. What was he supposed to do about it?
But, well, I thought that maybe he'd be able to
handle the situation.
How?
Because
How?
the neighbors always go to him and complain to him about whatever they're complaining about to him about.
How do
So
you
we're-
know? Stop. The neighbors always go to him and complain to them about what? What do the neighbors complain to you about regarding them?
Well, this is an old lady, Your Honor, and she is just an angry person.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
Because when you talk about microaggressions, I do not consider this a microaggression. I consider this a super major
mean,
aggression
yes.
that you make, but you make no mention of it here.
And later,
All right, so in any event, do you see the box? And the box it's not even sealed, right?
No, everything's just flowing on top of it.
And you have eyeballs, you saw that, right?
Yes.
And yet you grabbed the box.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with a case of Lincoln Novak, who brought Chase Abney and Letitia Jenkins to court for unpaid rent.
What's your understanding of what she called and complained to him about?
It's not just only her. What I'm saying is that there's other neighbors that always make small little complaints or small little remarks.
How do you know, I guess, is what I'm trying to...
Because he tells me
That's
that.
what I'm asking you. So what did he tell you?
So he would tell me, like, for example, another incident that we had. We were throwing a party, and we invited like 10 people over. I didn't think there was any noise complaints happening, you know, and he said that they told him about the complaint and told us
Did the
that...
police come?
Yeah, the police did come.
Okay, so you knew
and-
that somebody was complaining that it was too loud.
Yes.
So the police come, and it's obvious that a neighbor has called, and what did the police say to you?
Right, so it was like we started the party at 5 p.m. and then at 7 p.m. that's when we have to knock on the door and it's the police and they tell us that there's a noise complaint.
All right, so now here's my question to you. Did you complain to the landlord about that?
We asked him about it, just kind of about like, maybe what can we do next time, like so that doesn't happen again. And when we emailed him about it, he like blamed us for the call.
Why? What did he say?
Just like that it's being so loud. I don't know why you're being such a nuisance.
Okay, did he email that to you?
Yes.
Can I see it?
But here's the thing, though, about that. The neighborhood itself, like, they always have parties. They always have events going on, and we don't ever complain or anything. We don't ever do any of that stuff. And it's like, it's only fair that we're able to just go ahead and
Well,
enjoy our
that
time.
only happened once, the music violation, right?
Yeah, it was only one time.
Okay. The police stopped by questioning us about our guests. There have been several gatherings and parties in the neighborhood, way more people. I've never seen the police stop by. This is concerning.
Never seen the police
In
stop
addition
by.
to how people have not
look at
been
that.
friendly to Letitia since she moved in. You were on the lease originally, correct?
Yes.
And then did you add her to the lease, or did you get permission for her to move in, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so I was living in this area for like 6 months, and we were taking our relationship to the next level. So I got approval from Mr.
From him?
Novak.
Yeah. Okay.
And she was
and so did you actually sign a lease as well?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And in the future, if you have a party or gathering, please notify me and the neighbors in advance. Then you respond a month later. Due to the ongoing discrimination and microaggressions that have happened since we've moved in, we do not feel safe living here. All of our other attempts to alert you to this matter have been unsuccessful. We are vacating the property by the end of the month and expect the $1,500 security deposit refunded in full. In all of my years living there, I have always felt safe. I am not sure what has changed since I moved out 9 months ago. That's him. Unfortunately, there are still 3 months left on your lease. If you do not honor the lease, I will be forced to take this matter to court. Why you're suing for $4,500, but you have a $1,500 security deposit already?
Correct.
All right, and so you folks ended up, when you say they moved out and I had no idea, there's an email on September 15th, on September 15th, where he tells you that he's moving out, right?
Yep.
Correct.
When did the lease end?
End of December.
Okay, so he had already paid September, correct? Because it's
Correct.
September 15th.
Correct.
So it's October, November, and December that you're suing on, right?
Correct.
But you already have a $1,500 security deposit, correct?
Correct,
Did
yes.
they damage anything when they left?
Well, there was a KKK sign on the fence.
Oh, let's talk about that. So, what you describe as microaggressions in this email, tell me what you're referring to.
Well, I had my natural hair out at the time, and the neighbors had a comment that says, "Oh, look at that cotton hair."
Did you say anything
Excuse
to her?
me? Yeah, I said, "Excuse me," and she just walked away really fast.
Okay, and then anything else?
That's the one I could just think of off my head. But
Okay,
yes.
well, how about the KKK spray painted to your fence?
Yeah.
Because I would think that that would be
That's
take a
the
major
meat of
role in your
everything.
lives.
Yeah.
So does somebody want to tell me about that? Go ahead.
Right. So I just woke up early in the morning in September, and I
What
was
day in
waiting to
September?
work.
Is it the day you
was
wrote the email to him?
It was
like a later.
a week.
Week later.
Like a week.
A week
after
later.
the email, and I was waking up to go to work, and when I just went outside, like to go to the car, I see it right there on the fence.
And then he calls me down to come and see. I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done.
Do you have a picture of the spray painting?
Yes, but this tilted it.
Well, I mean, a week earlier you had said, we're moving. We are vacating the property at the end of the month, and we expect our security deposit back. That doesn't sound that doesn't
okay.
sound like you're vacillating, because when you talk about microaggressions, I do not consider this a microaggression. I consider this a super major
mean,
aggression
yes.
that you make. Yeah, but you make no mention of it here. So it actually does make sense that this was after you'd already decided to move out, because you're referring to them as microaggressions. Somebody sprays KKK and a swastika on my fence? That's a major aggression.
How will Judge Milian rule? Tune in tomorrow for the exciting conclusion.
Do we have a problem?
I am not happy with what's going on right now.
Okay, you can go ahead you can step
Hold on,
outside.
let me say what
go
I
ahead.
wanna
No,
say.
you
I
already
feel like
said.
you're
No, I'm not going to tolerate you
helping me with this
disrespecting
right
the
now.
court.
Coming up,
And to be honest, I saw red. I was furious. I was furious that he would be so flippant with other people's belongings.
this is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Samuel Arthur claims his clumsy friend dropped a moving box, which broke the urn with his dog's ashes. Oliver Vasquez says he's not to blame because the fragile box was not packed well or properly labeled.
Samuel Arthur, you're suing your former friend, Mr. Vasquez, for $739 for an urn that he broke while he was helping you move.
So on the 27th was my move, and after we were getting close to the end, last couple of boxes, I came down, I saw him lifting a box, and I hurried to help him with it, but at the time it had already flipped over, and inside was the urn that I mentioned, which contains my late dog Lonnie's ashes, which then spread out all over the New York.
I'm sorry, how was the urn packaged?
It was in the box with a couple of other things.
That's it? Just tossed in there? Not
Yes.
bubble wrap? Not protected in any way?
It was
no way.
Just a second. We're not talking to you yet. Go ahead.
It was in a section of the truck where I wasn't worried about it falling over.
Well, then you better let the other person you have helping you move know that,
I
because
did
when you
write
say,
down-
wait a second, when you say that, you know, and you have another person moving you, how do you know that, it was in a section where nothing could happen to it? Well, of course it can't, because someone's taking it out and going to walk with it, and they could fall, and if they fall and it's super well bubble wrapped, nothing's going to happen to it. But if they fall and it isn't well bubble wrapped, something might happen to it. All right, so in any event, do you see the box? And the box it's not even sealed, right?
No, everything's just flowing on top of it.
And you have eyeballs, you saw that, right?
Yes.
And yet you grabbed the box.
So he had the truck full of boxes just like that. So everything was just completely thrown on top, and it was just heavy stuff, dense stuff, fragile stuff, light stuff. Everything was mixed in, so I couldn't tell what was what. So I just continuously picked up the boxes and took them to his studio apartment, which he said nothing. He never warned me about anything fragile. He never said anything of that.
And he
any
didn't
of
have
that
the word fragile written on
No.
the box?
Coming up,
And what was his reaction?
He completely cussed me out. He was just yelling at me, completely cursing me out, and just telling me just leave. So I didn't even finish helping him.
this is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Samuel Arthur, who blames Oliver Vasquez for breaking the urn with his dog's ashes.
Why'd you grab the box if it looked so haphazard? And could you see the urn? Was it on top? Was it on bottom? What was the deal?
It may have been on top in the back, but my view was obstructed because it was overflowing
like, don't you
so
worry
much.
about what might be in it if you're grabbing it and it's so unstable?
With the way everything was, I just assumed that he would, let me know, but he didn't.
You pick up the box, which you shouldn't. That's my opinion. If you feel you can't safely pick it up, don't pick it up. And what happens?
So I'm just carrying it, I can't see it, and there was a sidewalk, and as I'm stepping over, I feel an imbalance in the box. So the way that the box was weighted, it wasn't evenly distributed, so there was more weight going to one side, it was like in a diagonal fashion. And so when I had tripped, the box just began to, just move around to where I couldn't stabilize it. And because there was so much stuff on top that, it just completely fell over. I couldn't catch anything, and I couldn't.
All right. So did you see the thing broken on the ground? Like, did you see? Ooh, that looks like a nice urn, and it's broken.
I didn't make any quick assumptions of the look of the urn. I just saw I broke some things, and so I profusely apologized to him.
Did you realize they were ashes?
Eventually, yes, because of his reaction.
Oh, and what was his reaction?
He completely cussed me out. He was just yelling at me, completely cursing me out, and just telling me just leave. So I didn't even finish helping him.
If I may, Your Honor, give my account of what happened there.
Yeah, what happened? Let's talk just about the actual accident. Go ahead.
I did get very upset when the ashes spilled.
That's an understatement.
Wait a minute. It's not your turn. Go ahead.
I was very upset, and to be honest, I saw red. I was furious. I was furious that he would be so flippant with other people's belongings.
Judge Milian's verdict when justice for the people returns. This is Justice for the People with Judge Milian.
You had a box that you didn't seal. There was no packing material in the box. Not an item inside the box was appropriately bubble wrapped for protection. So I'm a little shocked that your beloved dog was in some loose urn in a box. Maybe you should have carried that item.
Your Honor,
Every time one of you speaks, you feel bad, right? Because I make you feel bad, because it's really both your faults, isn't it? I mean, you're careless because you should see where you're going. Don't grab the box if you can't carry the box, period. Look at it and say, I'm going to let him grab that one because that one looks unstable. It's not even sealed. There's nothing. Everything's haphazard. I'm not moving this one. I don't know. Or wait and move. Then if they're all looking like that, then don't move any boxes alone. Move boxes together. And you've got a lot of nerve talking about how irate you were when you put the urn in there without so much as tape on the top of the urn. It is half each of your faults. You for the way you packed it, you for grabbing it if you couldn't grab it safely. $369, half of the urn, verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $369.
I'm disappointed in this outcome, and I hope you know that Lonnie hated you, and so did Jackson.
Our friendship's dead like your dog.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.